And we are live, coming to you from everything Philly. Create my audience. Hey, Miriam. Building our audience. Again, coming to you live from everything Philly, where we have our mural of Philadelphia with our Philly fanatic, our city skyline, Benjamin Franklin, Independence Hall, Liberty Bell. City of brotherly love. Till your brother has something you want, then you shoot him. And then, of course, nothing would be complete without the Rocky. So come on and join us at Everything Philly. Who we got in here? Oh, there's Jamila giving us a wave. And then Tracy got to take off her glasses so she can look more presentable. So you got some people in here waiting for some food, waiting for some good Philadelphia cooking. Let's go to the kitchen while we wait for people to join us. And I'm in the kitchen, and there's our superstar Alexis making some food. Jared getting down in the back. And we got some stuff coming out the oven. What is that? We got a nice stromboli coming out. Oh, let's go ahead and get that pulled out. It's ready. There's a stromboli, and I see a cheese pizza coming behind that, and some garlic cheese bread. Getting to see the inner workings of everything Philly while we're waiting for things to go on. My buddy Daniel East, old elementary school buddy, been friends for almost 50 years now. How you doing, customer? Say hello. There's Jane over there. And Calvin getting his groove on the grill, cooking some cheese steaks. That's the original. That's the authentic. And Daniel, I know you'll appreciate this. Look at that bag, sis. Can you see that bag? Amoroso rolls. Kit isn't complete without some Amoroso rolls. Eric joined us. And Ariel shared our post. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to get started in a few minutes and talk about employees and subcontractors. I agree, Phil. We got great food. I'm gonna leave my glasses on this week because somebody told me I looked stupid without them. So I gotta make sure I leave them on this week. Appreciate everybody joining us, and I don't know, it's a little chilly for me today. We had 60-degree weather here in Baton Rouge. I'm not used to that. That's why I got on this sweater. Not wearing a suit today. Gotta stay warm. As you know, we got about 3 minutes. We usually like to start at about 7:05 when people get on. It takes people a few minutes to hook up and come online with us. So in the meanwhile, we just chat about nothing. Just be kind of goofy. Last week, funny story, my grandbaby was watching with her mama, and she kept trying to talk to me and didn't realize that I couldn't talk back to her because I couldn't hear her. She thought I was FaceTiming with her, and she's 2 years old, so didn't really get it. So I had to FaceTime with her after the vlog was over, and it was definitely fun. Let's see, 7:03, got a couple more minutes, and then we're gonna get started. In case you didn't know, on March the 4th, we will be holding another free business seminar. It's going to be it's a 6-hour seminar. It runs from 9 o'clock until 3 o'clock, and it's going to be at the Holiday Inn on Segan Lane. We will provide lunch. We're going to give you some pizza from Everything Philly for lunch, and it is absolutely free. We're going to cover some very important topics for your business. We're going to teach you how to read P&Ls, understand the importance of budgeting, learning about procedures and policies, and make sure that we get all of those things in place to run your business the right way. Other than that, it's going to be a really good informational session. We held one about 2 months ago, and everybody that came thought that they got some really good information from it. So we'll be doing that again on March the 4th. And something else that's new this week, our marketing department just started a First Financial YouTube page. So if you just go on YouTube and search for First Financial of Baton Rouge, it will bring up our page. You can see it for free, but I'd like you to subscribe so that you could, I can see how many people are actually looking at the site. But what we did is we put last week's video on there, and we're going to put a video from every week on there, so you can go back and refer to them, particularly if you heard something today and in 3 or 4 months it resonates and you forget what we said. You can go back and look at that and at least make sure you can refer to it and get some good information. So we got about 30 seconds. So here's the disclaimer, the legal disclaimer from my legal department, which says that the information that we're giving is my opinion, and it's a professional opinion. So hopefully it's worth something to you. But at the same time, before you implement any of the things that we talk about, you should make sure that you check with your own attorney or your own CPA, because every business is a little bit different, so we don't want to give you information that doesn't apply exactly to your position. Tonight's is a little bit different because it is definitely one where every business should know about, and it applies equally to all businesses. So with that being said, we're going to get started. And what we're going to talk about tonight is the importance of how you classify your employees. And I say employees because in most cases that's what they are. So there are two different ways people treat people that work for them. One is employees and one is 1099 contract labor. When the contract labor laws were put in place, there was a very narrow scope on those. What they did was they said that a contract laborer is somebody who has their own business, works for themselves, works for multiple people, is in control of their own profit and loss, is not a regular or integral part of your business. So those people could be classified as contract labor. Most cases, people are employees, and what you're going to see is it boils down to whether or not they are under your control. So when you look at these things, what you're going to see is there's a series of questions. There's 20 questions that the IRS asks. And if you can answer yes to most of those questions, or even a decent number of those questions, you have employees, not contract laborers. Okay? So again, we look at the important facets. So the first question that the IRS asks is, does the business require the worker to follow their own instructions? If somebody hires my accounting firm, for instance, they tell me what they need. They need their tax returns done, or they need some consulting. But what they don't tell us is how we do it. We provide our own, direction on how we want to do the work to accomplish the eventual goal. So technically, if you're telling people how to do the job, then you probably have an employee. Before we talk about this, so you listen really well, let me tell you what the penalty is, first of all, if you get caught and the IRS determines that you have employees, not 1099 people. Your penalty is this: you have to pay all of the taxes that the employee should have had withheld. Big number. If they should have had 20% taxes withheld on the money that you were paying them, then you are responsible for that 20%, not the employee. Second, you have to pay penalty and interest on all of that money that you were supposed to withhold. Okay, so that is calculated at about 4.5% per month. So that's a big old penalty. And then the third thing is the self-employment tax that normally the company pays half of and the employee pays half of. So that's 15.3%. That 7.65 that the employee was supposed to pay, the company also has to pay. So big penalties, and not to mention you could eventually go to jail as well if it was not just a mistake, if it seems like you did it on purpose. Okay? So back to this, number 2, does the business provide training to the worker? Well, if you're providing training and teaching them how to do the job, they're probably not a subcontractor or a contract laborer. Again, if you hire my firm, you don't train us on how we have to do the work that we're doing for you. We just know how to do it already. Okay? The next question that they ask is the work that the person is doing a substantial or important part of the business that they're doing the work for? In other words, Do you have other revenue streams? Or is this person's work what you need to do to make your money? So let me give you an example. If you own a lawn care business and you have a person that's working for you and they're cutting grass and trimming weeds, that's an integral part of your business that you're doing. Now, if you have somebody that comes in one day and they just want to help you out, they're going to help you out by evaluating the property and giving you suggestions on drainage or overall landscaping, then they're not an employee. They can be considered a contract labor. JB joined us. Thanks, JB. The next question that they're going to ask to see whether or not they're a contract laborer is, does the person, or do you require that person to do the work personally? Or can they hire somebody else to do it for them? In most cases, you bring somebody on and they have to do the work themselves. That's an employee. You hire my firm, I might do it, I might have Ariel do it, I might have Ashley do it, I might have the accounting department do it. That means we are contract laborers, not employees. Again, trying to avoid these big penalties that we have going on. Okay. The next question is, does the business have an ordinary or an ongoing relationship with the person that they hire? People hire my company, they hire it once a year, twice a year, maybe once every couple of years. If I'm doing work for them every day, there's a good chance that I am actually an employee and not a contract laborer. Okay, so ongoing relationship. Does the business require to work certain or set hours? That's the next question. If you're telling that person when they have to be at work, chances are you got an employee, not a contract laborer. At the end of this, I'm going to review what I said in the beginning, which is what your penalty is for having this happen. Okay. Does the business require the worker full-time? Some of the projects that we do in our consulting company, they might be a 6-week project and they might take 40 hours a week, and if I only have one person working on it, yeah, they're technically working full-time. But again, it's a temporary assignment. We don't necessarily have to work 40 hours. We might be able to get it done in 20 hours a week, so we are contract labor. But if you're requiring them to work 40 hours a week, then they are probably an employee. Does the business provide a workspace for the person? Now, this one people can get a little tricky about. If I come into your business and you ask me to evaluate your business, to look at it, see what's wrong with it, yeah, I'm going to come in, you're probably going to give me a desk to sit at and work at, but I'm probably going to bring my own computer and I'm still going to do some of my work outside. If you provide an office space, if you provide a computer for that person to work in, then chances are they're an employee, not a contract labor. The 10th question is, does the business determine or order the order or sequence in which the work is done? Again, you're dictating how the work is to be done. When I come into a business as a contractor, you're going to tell me, I want to accomplish this goal, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my knowledge to use, and I'm going to go ahead and do my things in the order and in the steps that I want to get them done in order to accomplish the overall goal. Okay? Does the business require oral or written reports? Sure, when I'm doing a long project, a 4 or 6 week project, I will give the client updates every few days just to let them know what we're doing, what we're working on. Make sure they don't want us to change the course of delivery. But if you're requiring your people to report to you and tell you what you did or how they did or where they are on a project, chances are they're an employee. The next one is number 12 is, does the business pay by the hour, week, or month? Again, don't confuse this, because I get paid by the hour. If you hire our company, we tell you how many hours it's going to take, and we tell you a price per hour that it's going to take, depending on whether it's accounting work, consulting work, legal consulting, whatever it is, we have a different rate for each thing. But if you have somebody that you're paying $10 an hour to do the work, probably have an employee, not a contract laborer. Okay, the next one is, does the business pay the employee's expenses? Well, if you're paying expenses for the employee, then chances are it is an employee, not a contract laborer. When I factor in a project, I factor in what my costs are going to be. That's how I price you out. You don't actually reimburse me for the expenses that I incurred doing the work. Question 14 is, does the business provide tools and equipment? Again, if you hire somebody to come out and help you with a landscaping business and you give them a lawnmower and a weed whacker and the different things that they need to do the job, then they're an employee. If they're a contractor, they should have all that information, all those things themselves. They shouldn't be requiring you to provide those things for them. Number 15 is, does the worker have a significant investment in their own facilities? And what you mean by that is, or what the IRS means by that, to be more accurate, is, do they have an investment on their project making them money, or do you have the investment in whether or not you're making money? So, do they carry a facility? Do they pay rent? Do they have to factor in those kind of expenses in order to make a profit? Well, if they don't, then chances are, again, you have an employee. The next one is, does the worker have profit and loss independent of the business? In other words, besides the work they're doing for you, do they have other expenses? Do they have other incomes coming in? If they don't, and they're working only for you, then chances are they're not a contract laborer. Okay? The next one is, does the client have does your person that's working for you have multiple clients? Again, First Financial has 1,000 clients. We don't we don't have just one person that we do the work for. We have several people, okay, that we work for. So if you have somebody that's working strictly for you, then chances are you have an employee, not a contract laborer. The next one is, does the worker market their services to the general public? Do they go and tell people, hey, I'm for hire, I can do these jobs for you? If they don't, you have an employee. Does the business have the right to discharge the worker at any time? If you have the right to discharge the worker at any time, you have an employee. If you cannot do that because you have a contract or agreement with them, then chances are you have a contract laborer. And the last one is, does the worker have the right to quit at any time? If they don't have a right to quit at any time, then they are probably a contractor. If they can quit at any time, they are an employer, okay? So these are the guidelines that they set out. Time, I got my time notice that we were running out of time in terms of keeping to our guidelines. So the two things to remember is, if you have any questions about this, one, you can DM me, or you can instant message me on Facebook. You can also go to our website, which is www.firstfinancialbr.com, and we have a contact us page on there. And then again, we are, hey, we have a YouTube page. If you go to First Financial of Baton Rouge on YouTube, it will bring you to our page, and you can log on there and see the current and the previous ones. And lastly, I'll mention one more time that we have our free business seminar on Saturday, March the 4th, from 9 to 3. It's a 6-hour class to teach you most of the things that will help you get started with business or help you get your business on track. And you can go to bizbootcamp.info and register for it. So it's bizbootcamp.info, and you can go on and register for the class. Again, thank you for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. If there are any topics you all want in the future, please email us or contact us, and we'll be glad to do those. Peace.